Philodendron gloriosum dark form versus regular. My gloriosum journey started with the classic form. Its deep, emerald leaves with subtle veins are beautiful, but when I saw the dark form, I was smitten. The leaves are richer, almost black-green, and the veins are like glowing white lightning, creating incredible drama. It's definitely devier and makes a bolder statement. Watering them feels the same, but the dark form seems a touch slower growing, which might be because it puts more energy into that intense color. Philodendron gloriosum versus glorious. These names can be confusing. Philodendron glorious is like a pumped-up gloriosum. Its leaves are enormous, easily dwarfing my regular gloriosum. It feels like a jungle plant, reaching out with long, thick stems. While impressive, it needs a lot of space and support. I find myself fussing more about finding the perfect climbing pole for it, whereas my gloriosum is happy curling around a moss pole. Philodendron gloriosum versus splendid. This matchup is all about shimmer. Philodendron splendid has stunning, glossy leaves that seem to glow from within. The veins have a subtle iridescence, almost like a rainbow caught in the light. It's breathtaking, but it also feels a bit delicate. Compared to the more robust gloriosum, the splendid needs careful handling and might not be the best choice for a clumsy plant parent like me. Philodendron gloriosum versus zebra. Now we're talking about patterns. Philodendron gloriosum zebra is like a wild cousin of the gloriosum. Its leaves are a riot of green with dramatic silver variegation. It's stunning, but also a challenge. Variegated plants can be fussy about light, and the zebra seems to be particularly sensitive. I find myself constantly monitoring its light levels to keep those gorgeous stripes vibrant. It's definitely a conversation starter, but be prepared to put in the extra care. Can Philodendron gloriosum climb? Philodendron gloriosum can climb, but it's not the most enthusiastic climber. It has aerial roots that can latch onto a moss pole or trellis for support, but it won't aggressively climb like some other philodendrons. I actually have mine on a moss pole, and it seems happy to climb a bit, but mostly it trails elegantly. How to care for Philodendron gloriosum. Philodendron gloriosum is a pretty easygoing plant as long as you keep it happy with a few key things. Bright indirect light. Direct sun can scorch the leaves, so filtered light near a window is ideal. Moist but not soggy soil. Let the top inch or two of soil dry out before watering again. Overwatering is a real enemy with this plant. Warm temperatures. Aim for temperatures between 65 degrees Fahrenheit and 80 degrees Fahrenheit. High humidity. This can be a challenge indoors, but misting your plant regularly or using a humidifier can help. How to propagate Philodendron gloriosum. Propagating a Philodendron gloriosum is pretty straightforward. You can do it through stem cuttings. Take a healthy stem with a few nodes, those little bumps where the leaves grow, and cut it below a node. Dip the cut end in rooting hormone, optional, and plant it in a pot with moist, well-draining soil. Keep it warm and humid, and you should see new growth in a few weeks. Is Philodendron gloriosum a crawler? Philodendron gloriosum isn't technically a crawler, but it does have trailing vines. It won't actively creep along the ground like some other plants. Is Philodendron gloriosum rare? Philodendron gloriosum isn't super rare, but it can be less common than some other philodendrons. This, combined with its beautiful foliage, can make it a bit more expensive. Where to buy Philodendron gloriosum? Finding a Philodendron gloriosum can depend on your location. Here are a couple of options. Local nurseries and plant shops. Especially if they specialize in uncommon houseplants, they might have them. Online retailers. Many online plant shops sell Philodendron gloriosum. Do your research to pick a reputable seller with good reviews. Why is Philodendron gloriosum so expensive? The price of a Philodendron gloriosum can vary depending on the size, maturity, and variegation of the plant. Generally, larger, more mature plants with unique variegation will cost more. How to get bigger leaves on Philodendron gloriosum. Encouraging bigger leaves on your Philodendron gloriosum is all about giving it the right conditions to thrive. Here are some tips. Provide plenty of bright, indirect light. This is essential for photosynthesis, which helps the plant grow larger leaves. Fertilize occasionally during the growing season with a balanced fertilizer diluted to half strength. Make sure your plant is in a pot that's not too small. If the roots are cramped, it will limit the size of the leaves. Repot when the roots start to outgrow the current pot. How to repot philodendron gloriosum. Repotting your philodendron gloriosum is important when it outgrows its current pot. Signs it needs a repot include roots coming out of the drainage holes, the soil drying out too quickly, or stunted growth. Choose a pot that's only a couple of inches larger in diameter than the current one. Use a well-draining potting mix formulated for aeroids.